Hey everyone, welcome back to another deep dive on the Explainer. So, have you ever wondered how massive tech companies actually connect multiple completely isolated machines together to create one single incredibly powerful computing system? Well, today we are going to explore the architecture of big data by walking through the exact steps to set up an on-premise Hadoop cluster from scratch. Let's get right into it. Now, you might be asking yourself, how do we actually configure a 3-node Hadoop cluster? Because, as you probably know, a cluster isn't just some regular app you double-click and install. It is a carefully connected, distributed system. So we're going to go on a guided virtual lab tour today to break down exactly how this architecture is built, piece by piece. To make this whole thing super logical, we're going to break it down into 5 quick steps: the on-premise setup challenge, preparing the virtual environment, master and slave nodes, network mapping with the etc hosts file, and finally, navigating the cluster terminals. All right, kicking things off with step 1, the on-premise setup challenge, navigating networking and cloud computing. Let's be real for a second. Setting up an on-premise cluster, it can be pretty tricky. It requires some genuine expertise in domains like networking and cloud computing. It's definitely not a simple one-click process. But hey, that's exactly why we're here today, right? We're going to break down that illusion of complexity and make the whole process highly approachable. At a purely physical level, the magic number for our setup today is just 3. We literally just need 3 machines. But, and this is a massive but, the absolute golden rule of networking here is that all 3 of these machines must be connected to the exact same network. That right there is the foundational bedrock required to configure our cluster. Moving right along to section 2, preparing the virtual environment, specifically using VirtualBox and BOSS MOOL. Okay, so to actually get our software running, we've got 2 absolutely crucial first steps. Step 1, you just go ahead and download VirtualBox on all 3 machines. Simple enough. Then, step 2, we boot up BOSS MOOL with the Hadoop Virtual Disk Image, or VDI. Honestly, this is such a brilliant approach. It basically lets us simulate a massive, distributed environment right there on standard everyday hardware. Which brings us to section 3, master and slave nodes, defining cluster roles. Now, this is where it really gets interesting, because we have to define exactly which machine does what. It's kind of like assigning everyone a job title. The machine ending in IP address 101, that is our master node. Think of it as the boss. It controls the cluster, stores metadata, and coordinates all the operations. Meanwhile, the other 2 machines, ending in 104 and 105, are our slave nodes, or data nodes. They're the workers doing the heavy lifting, actually storing blocks and executing tasks. By the way, if you're prepping for a big data interview anytime soon, absolutely commit these IP-to-role connections to memory. It's a lifesaver. All right, on to section 4, network marking with the /etc/hosts file, or how nodes actually communicate. So how do these isolated machines actually find each other? Well, to put it simply, the etc host file is a system file that holds the critical mapping of a machine's IP address to its assigned cluster role. It's literally the contact book for your cluster communication. Without this specific file, Hadoop would have absolutely no idea that, say, slave 1 is actually the machine sitting at IP address 14. If we look under the hood for a second, we can see the exact configuration holding this whole network together. When mapping IP addresses to host names, we see 192.168.0.105 mapped straight to slave 2. Right below it, 104 maps to slave 1, and up top, 101 maps to master. It's literally just a simple block of text. But this simple text is what allows Hadoop nodes to talk to each other using plain names instead of making you memorize complex, raw IP addresses. And finally, section 5, navigating the cluster terminals, stepping inside the virtual lab. Let's actually step inside our virtual lab. Now, when you pull up the active terminals of all 3 nodes at the same time, I know, it kind of looks like an intimidating wall of code at first glance, very matrixy. But don't worry, we're going to navigate across this interface together so you understand exactly how these machines are working as a single distributed system in real time. Let's break down that terminal layout. The left side, that represents your master node terminal. That's where you can see it actively pulling network configs to coordinate the cluster's workflow. Over on the right side, we have our 2 data nodes, the slave terminals. This split screen setup is super important because it allows you, the engineer, to monitor the master's commands and watch the data nodes execute those commands simultaneously. In fact, to quote the source material directly here, the left half of the screen represents the master node, and the right half represents the 2 data nodes. I know, that sounds incredibly straightforward, but locking in that spatial understanding absolutely vital when you're troubleshooting or managing a live, breathing Hadoop environment. Now, you might be wondering, why go through the tricky process of setting all this up? Well, while this specific 3-node setup might just be a demonstration, it is literally the foundation for vital big data concepts. Once you master this virtual lab using VirtualBox and host mapping, you completely unlock the ability to understand, configure, and scale giant, real-world data systems. It's a total game changer. So, we've built the foundation together. You've seen the network mapping, the IP assignments, and the whole terminal architecture. Now that your virtual lab is fully connected and talking to each other, what massive data sets are your master and slave nodes going to process first? Think about the possibilities there. Anyway, thank you so much for exploring this architecture with me today on this explainer. Keep learning, keep building, and I will catch you in the next one.